At first, it was easier to believe this was nothing more than a tragic accident, a sudden fall, a cruel twist of fate that took a promising life far too soon. Many wanted to hold on to that version of events because the alternative was far more unsettling. But as the truth slowly emerged, that fragile comfort began to collapse, revealing a story far darker and far more disturbing than anyone had imagined. What came to light was not a moment of misfortune, but a carefully constructed plan. In the hours leading up to his final moments, subtle signs appeared that something was deeply wrong. His movements were unsteady, his awareness seemed clouded. Investigators would later determine that his condition had been deliberately altered, leaving him confused, vulnerable, and unable to fully protect himself. This was not chance. It was preparation. As testimonies unfolded, it became clear that what followed was not sudden, but drawn out. He tried to resist. He tried to stay grounded in reality. Even in a weakened state, his instincts did not abandon him. Small human actions revealed his will to survive. Reaching out, holding on to something familiar. These were not the gestures of someone resigned to fate, but of a person fighting to remain present, to stay alive, even when the odds were no longer in his favor. Perhaps the most devastating revelation was not the method, but the people involved. Those closest to him were not strangers lurking in the shadows. They were individuals he trusted, people who had shared laughter, memories, and years of companionship. That sense of safety, once taken for granted, became the very tool used against him. The betrayal was quiet, calculated, and deeply personal. Behind it all stood a guiding force, someone who did not act openly, but whose influence shaped every step. Her motivation was not wealth, nor personal gain in the traditional sense. It was something far more corrosive, a slow-burning resentment, fed by comparison, by watching another person rise while she felt unseen. Success, admiration, and integrity became mirrors, reflecting everything she believed she lacked. Over time, that envy hardened into resolve. What followed was an attempt to erase responsibility. A scene rearranged, details subtly altered, a narrative planted before questions could even be asked. On the surface, everything appeared chaotic, accidental, unremarkable. Yet beneath that surface, one overlooked detail quietly endured. A personal item, instinctively secured in a moment of distress, became the silent witness that refused to disappear. Science did the rest. Traces left behind told a story no rehearsal could fully conceal. As this information reached the public, the reaction was immediate and intense. Shock gave way to anger. Grief transformed into collective outrage. Across digital spaces and quiet gatherings alike, people questioned how such cruelty could exist behind familiar faces, how trust could be dismantled so thoroughly, and how envy, when left unchecked, could grow powerful enough to destroy not just relationships, but lives. What resonates most is not only the injustice of what happened, but the reminder it leaves behind. That darkness does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides behind smiles, shared history, and ordinary moments. Yet even in those circumstances, truth has a way of surfacing, often through the smallest, most human actions. As the legal process continues, one message echoes clearly. Accountability matters, integrity matters, and no matter how carefully a lie is constructed, it cannot erase every trace of reality. For many, this story is not just about loss, but about awareness, reflection, and the responsibility we all share to look beyond appearances. Thank you for staying with this story until the end. If you value thoughtful updates, deep storytelling, and meaningful analysis, please consider subscribing to Update X24 for your watch. Your support helps us continue bringing stories that matter. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next update. you.